welcome back to The Bright Side. Macy here, the Bright Side Girl, and today we're doing my September reading wrap-up. Stay tuned tomorrow, I'll be sharing my September audiobook wrap-up, and I listened to quite a few things. But for now, we're going to talk about the 3 things I read in September. So I was hoping this would be a lot bigger, like normal, but I actually read all of these like in the first 2.5 weeks of September, so I was thinking I was gonna finish like double this, but I'm in the middle of a bunch of different books and I just was having a funkier end of the month than I did at the beginning. So for now, only 3 books, but I loved all of them and I'm very excited to talk to you. So at the beginning of the month, I did Hike-a-thon, which is a reading vlog that I host, and it was very exciting. And I read The Vine Witch by Luann G. Smith. This one I just randomly saw when I was looking for like atmospheric, naturey, gardeny themed reads. This one is an adult fantasy. It is set at a vineyard. There are witches that take care of the grapes and the vineyard and produce this wine, and they brew magical potions and they do all these spells, and it's really great. It has a lovely romance in here. There's a lot of drama that happens at the end, a lot of witchy goodness. This one is super atmospheric as far as like the vineyard and the spells and the magic and all of that kind of stuff. I saw that this has quite a lot of mixed reviews on Goodreads. I think because the beginning half makes you think that it's going to be a full-on like sexy time romance, and it really isn't. It does have romance, but towards the middle way of the book, it's a lot more like adventurous and magical and mysterious. So there's a lot of really cool things that happen in here. I personally loved it and thought it was fantastic, especially for this time of year, and I wound up giving it 4 stars. Then I picked up Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. Honestly, you guys, I decided to read this one because I have this beautiful Owl Crate edition, which is white with like blue and gold foiling and blue sprayed edges and like all of that goodness. But I did not love The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. And so when I found this, I like could not pick it up, but I was really just not wanting to dive into it because I didn't love The Wicked Deep. So I decided just to kind of like get it over with this month, and then I was like, oh, I can trade it or sell it or something if I don't like it because it's so beautiful. And I wound up super loving it, so much so that I might try Wicked Deep again. I personally thought Wicked Deep just had something that was kind of missing for me. I don't know if it was because it was a debut novel. I think it was. I don't know what was going on because it had all of the elements of things that I love. But this one is set in the woods. We're following Nora Walker, who is descendant of witches, and she's always been told to be careful of the woods because the woods is like this own entity. It's like this own spirit, and it can like do magical things and stuff like that. And so she's always very respectful, and she kind of like goes through the woods and looks for like lost things. And while she's out looking for lost trinkets and things, she actually finds a boy that looks like he's like frozen to the earth. She kind of helps him to recover and kind of finds out all this mystery about him. There is a boys camp that is nearby her home in the woods, and a lot of like interesting things happen there. It's kind of for like juvenile delinquents and stuff like that. It's where their parents kind of send them to kind of help with like their bad behavior and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, there's that going on, and the magical woods and a little bit of romance, and this one was so atmospheric. It was so witchy, it was so woodsy, but it's modern at the same time. It just had so many different elements to it, and I just loved the way that it was written, honestly. Between each chapter, you get a chapter from Nora's family's spell book that talks about like one of the women in her family in their past and like what their magical ability was, and Nora thinks that she doesn't have a magical ability, and so she's kind of reading this spell book, and you get to read it along with her, and the ending was incredible. I really loved it and have really fond memories of this now. So happy. So I wound up giving this one 4.5 stars. Then I read This Monstrous Thing by Mackenzie Lee. This is the last Frankenstein retelling that I physically own. I'm very sad about that because I freaking love Frankenstein retellings, you guys. So I adored this so much. So this has a major steampunk vibe atmosphere to it. We're in 1818 Geneva, and there are basically people and men that live with clockwork parts. So like if you get your arm cut off or whatever, you can have like a mechanical arm put on, like very steampunky, very kind of sci-fi for this time age. And there are illegal mechanics that will fix these parts for these men and women because they're looked down upon and they're treated terribly because they're considered not human anymore because they have like mechanical parts on them. And it is so interesting and it seems so realistic, and it was just so great. So we're following Alistair, and he is a shadow boy, which is an illegal mechanic. His brother has just died and his sweetheart is gone, and he's going through a lot of different things, and there are all these sciencey Frankenstein-y things that happen. It was so interesting. I read it really fast. I just love Frankenstein retelling so much, and it was so good. All the different parts that tied in, all of the romance, all of the things that tie together to the original story. I just can't even pick a favorite. I love it so much. If you guys know any more Frankenstein retellings, please tell me. I've read probably 5 or 6 now, and I'm gonna have a video coming out about that this year, and I'm so stoked about it. But there just really aren't a ton, especially in YA. So this is one of my favorites. Please read it, but definitely read Frankenstein first because it just helps you to know the origins of the story. I absolutely loved it, and I gave this 5 stars. So that is it. Those are all the things that I read for September, but I listened to quite a few more things, so be sure to come back tomorrow and check out tomorrow's video because they're all also, most of them are like spooky, atmospheric themed reads as well. There are a few regular ones in there, but for the most part, kind of fall festiveness. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time on The Bright Side. Bye!